This is the story of a 20,000-mile journey in search of one of the greatest figures in history. A man whose legend has been told across the world for more than 2,000 years. On the plains of Central Asia, the nomads still tell the tale of Alexander the Great. But Alexander, they say, had horns. He was the devil. Alexander the Great was born here in Macedonia in northern Greece, in the shadow of Mount Olympus, the home of the gods. And the gods are as important characters in his story as he is. Zeus, Apollo, Hercules were real to him. He even proclaimed that Zeus, the king of the gods, was his father. This is not the tale of an ordinary person who thought in ordinary ways. Like everyone who's been fascinated by his legend, I suppose I set out hoping to discover the truth about the man who conquered much of the world before he was 30. After all, it's one of the most famous stories in all history. To this day, no one has traced the whole of Alexander's great journey on the ground. That was my plan.
We have this bed on the palace, so he have seen this portrait, and it is the only original portrait of his lifetime. That is the important thing. All the others are copies.
So this is the
real Alexander,
the real Alexander,
the real young Alexander.
It's a sensitive face, you might think. Now look at this. Here he is, aged around 30, the world ruler. And he looks to me like a troubled man, disillusioned perhaps. Meanwhile, Alexander himself sailed on downstream, on a pilgrimage to a place sacred in all Greek hearts, and especially his. Troy. He was the first to go ashore.
Woo! Alexander waded ashore in full ceremonial armor. Plumes on his helmet, shield on his chest, the Gorgon's head whose image was supposed to turn onlookers into stone. And his first act was to throw his spear to the shore, claiming that Asia was his by right, won by the spear. What a photo opportunity!
All the way down the western seaboard of Turkey, there were Greek cities under Persian rule, powerhouses of Greek civilization. Alexander's tutor, Aristotle, had taught here. And in many of these cities, Alexander was seen as a liberator. We picked up his path south of the Meander River. You head past the ruins of Miletus, which Alexander stormed. No one goes up to the old road anymore.
This path leads into the hills, meets up with the Sacred Way in about a quarter of a mile. And then, from then on, you just walk all the way to Didyma on the old road.
Alexander came along this path to the temple at Didyma. Just as he had enlisted the help of the heroes of Troy, he now sought the support of one of the most powerful of the Olympian gods, Apollo, whose oracle had once drawn pilgrims here from all over the Greek world. "2,300 years ago, Alexander the Great invaded Asia, his goal to conquer the Persian Empire. We followed in his footsteps a 20,000-mile journey from Greece to the plains of India. In the third year of the war, Alexander marched into Egypt. There, at the oracle of Siwa, he was proclaimed son of God, a true pharaoh. Now he turned his gaze towards Persia. We were now on one of the great travel routes of history. This was once the Persian Royal Road, later part of the Silk Route, which joined the Mediterranean with China. It's been fought over for 5,000 years. Beyond the mountains, the road comes down to a wide plain where the battle was fought. Darius had already been defeated at Issus. His wife and family were Alexander's prisoners, and he now staked everything on a battle near the town of Gaugamela. We stopped for water near where Alexander must have camped that September. Before he marched east, Alexander moved into the northernmost province of Iran by the Caspian Sea. And riding in his track, we entered ancient Hyrcania, the land of wolves. Our guide was Louise Ferrouz, who's lived out here with the Turkomans for 30 years. Our goal was Alexander's Wall, an ancient defense work like Hadrian's Wall or the Great Wall of China, which legend says was built by Alexander to mark the northern edge of his empire.
Off to your right is the beginning of Central Asia here, and on the left, on the other side of Alexander's Wall, is the beginning of the Middle East. This encloses the sweet water on this side with the Alborz Mountains and its springs, and on this side you have nothing but brackish springs and very few of those also.
So that's civilization and this is nomads.
That's right.
The great divide of history.
Yes.